All right, aloha family, Spencer-Mack here. Just got off of a very stimulating phone call with a friend, and I have a topic I'd like to share on some insights into why I believe I failed on the Amen Ra protocol and to extrapolate what we can learn from this amazing polarity of the dietary etiquettes that are potentials for us to live on. I can think of no two greater polarities than Dr. Amen Ra and the carnivore diet. Dr. Amen Ra is vegan, highly supplemented, the use of science to isolate nutraceuticals and refine that which is necessary, remove that which is not, and seemingly complex in the necessity for such a broad spectrum of knowledge in order to formulate all of the little nuances of nutrition that are necessary to feed ourselves. And then the simplicity of the caveman carnivore, the fact that you can live solely on animals alone. You can thrive on your livestock. The polarities. I'd like to share some insight that I've gained from this contrast. As I've said before, I'm just so intrigued at how many people I see are doing a lot better by eating a lot of meat. And I've shared my theories on that, certain deficiencies as to what may be reinvigorating their spirit, so to speak. For me, I have been personally on an Amenesque type protocol for 3.5 years now. That entails fasting for 23 hours a day. You break your fast in the evening with an elixir composed of amino acids, multivitamin, mineral, and other nutraceuticals like spirulina, brewer's yeast. It's basically that gray goo that they eat in the Matrix. Only it's more green, or perhaps chocolate colored, depending if you put chocolate in it or not. And along that path, in the last, about 3 months ago, I started to experience some pretty serious fatigue. I had ups and downs and lots of education. If you've been following me over the years, I've tried many different alterations to try to adhere to the ideals of the Amen protocol. 3 months ago, I started experiencing fatigue and edema, holding on to water weight, just feeling cloudy. I went and got blood tests and found that I was anemic. Now, anemia isn't necessarily just because of iron. Copper can also contribute to it. All around nutrient deficiency, not getting enough amino acids. Perhaps your digestive tract is compromised, so you're not absorbing all the nutrition you're eating. Needless to say, this made me pursue a lot of research, and I dove deep into the minerals. I've been saturating myself in all of them, particularly what are known as the macro minerals, the electrolytes. We have potassium, sodium, chloride, phosphorus, magnesium. What else do we got? Largely for me, potassium was one of the main factors. I found that helped the edema go away rapidly. Magnesium is also huge, just a common deficiency. I also started to take iron, and taking iron with vitamin C to help the uptake. I feel a lot better. I will say that. That being said, the reason I believe that potentially I failed because I did not follow the Amen protocol to the T. There was a good period of time that I was not consuming everything. I did not follow his diet the same way that he does. For a while, I did not have spirulina or brewer's yeast in the elixir. Now, here's a source of iron in both of these guys. And potassium. Perhaps if I followed a high bean diet, as Amen did, I would not have had that issue as well. Once you're deficient in potassium, your digestive system, your ability to produce hydrochloric acid and peristalsis, the movement of the intestines, as well as your ability to absorb carbohydrates and sugars, potassium, It's actually the most needed mineral per gram, per weight of any mineral that we need. Kind of fascinating. Perhaps if I followed his same diet, but I ate differently because I found if I consumed a whole lot of beans and rice and such, I didn't always digest it well. And if you're breaking the fast late in the evening and you eat this large meal, 1,800 calories or so, then you may throw off your sleep. And that perpetuates a very difficult cycle because when you sleep poorly, you're more hungry the next day. That's proven. You make poorer decisions. Your willpower is not quite as potent. So, there are innumerable factors and variables in this game of us figuring out how to nurture ourselves as a human. So I just want to put it all on the table and share with you guys a broad spectrum of what people are thriving on. We have Dr. Amin-Ra here, who is the current world record holder of the deadlift, 671 pounds, weighing in at 180, lifting 4 times your body weight, consuming a meal 1 time a day, really utilizing science to perpetuate the thrival of himself. Now, potentially, I had deficiencies coming into the diet in the first place. Another factor, the contrast here, the carnivore diet. I know one woman, I was watching her story, she was eating 2 pounds of meat a day, 1 pound at like 11 o'clock and 1 pound for dinner. She's been doing that for like 9 years. She was a very sharp, clear, kind-hearted woman, school teacher. She looked healthy and very clearly spoken. So these kind of examples fascinate me. And when I look at that diet, that is going to be roughly 240 grams of protein a day. That's pretty crazy. Now, if we look at Dr. Amin's research or mankind's research into longevity, one sure way to increase the lifespan across multiple species is to lower the protein consumption, particularly the amino acid L-methionine. And so we found if we just take L-methionine out and lower it to just the necessary level across multiple species of life, we can greatly extend the lifespan of that animal. And you know what the most highly dense food containing methionine is? Animal products, meat, dairy, high in methionine. So that is a very strong contrasting theory between those two guys, high protein, high methionine. Another disagreement Dr. Amin would have just the high fat and the high protein, carboxylating proteins, which are like ages of a protein variety, glycative end products that collect in the body and basically damage our cells and our ability to reproduce healthy cells, leading to various diseases. Lipo-oxidative byproducts as well. They're called ALEs, advanced lipo-oxidative end products. So, but then on this side, you have the advanced glycative end products, AGEs. So glucose has the potential to oxidize with proteins and build up in the body, for instance, in the brain, lead to Alzheimer's. Build up in the tissues, lead to wrinkles. So oxidation is an enemy on either side. I find the whole thing fascinating. I don't see a chat box on this guy. I wanted to open this up to a chat, share my perspective on a few things. Perhaps if there are, let me see. Perhaps if there are questions, I'll just have to answer them in the comments later because I definitely don't see an option here right now. So those are the contrasting counterpoints of some of the more advanced edges of our dietary evolution as a species. Currently, I've been on my own experimental diet to try to blend these two things together. I'm living on an Aminesque type elixir, but it's high fat, mimicking the carnivore diet but sourcing my fats from plants in an attempt to perhaps improve the benefits that you get from this. Another reason I'd like to say potentially why the carnivore diet works for some people is because it's so high in protein. Protein is the most satiating macronutrient. So that'll stomp your hunger. That will lead to longer periods of time where you're not eating food, which will increase the period of time you spend in autophagy, which is when your body is catabolizing itself, breaking down scar tissue, dissolving plaque, clearing out your arteries. Catabolism, self-eating, autophagy. So the carnivore diet in itself, high fat, high protein, will lead to longer periods of fasting. It makes it easier to fast and perhaps consume a lower amount of calories. That's one of Dr. Amin-Ra's main precepts, is that lowering calories and spending longer periods of time in a fasted state enhance autophagy and lengthen lifespan. That's our most well-founded view on how we can increase lifespan and health span, is caloric restriction with adequate nutrition. So the name of the game seems to be keeping the calories as low as possible with the highest amount of nutrients. Reasons I'm seeing people may also be doing so well in the carnivore diet is because they have become so allergic to so many different types of foods. Our bacteria, our gut bacteria, are no longer in a good enough state of health to transmute proteins like glutens and lectins into usable cofactors, into nutritional substances. So denatured microbiome, also just the genetic diversity in humanity as well. We all spent time in isolated environments for thousands of years adapting to specific types of diets, and now we're spread all across the globe. Your genetics has a great deal to do with how well you can absorb and utilize nutrition, how well you can endogenously produce nutrients that you need. Ultimately, I see the future of nutrition being genome customized, individualized diets. Perhaps you get your own elixir based on your genes and your blood work, and it's updated every 3 months or so, because we are that unique as individuals. And that's really the name of the game, is get educated, understand the principles, and make the decision for yourself. Really, when you see something working for somebody, why? Question it, figure it out. But until we're in an age where genome testing and nutritionally matched supplements aren't easy to get, this is where we are. And I speak with a lot of people who have compromised digestive issues. A lot of individuals are dealing with digestive problems, malnourishment in one way or the other. They say illness really only comes from 2 factors. You're either deficient in something or you're toxic. So we need to learn how to support our detox pathways in every way possible, something I think Dr. Amin-Ra has mastered. And we need to know how to nurture and replete our nutritional stores to the best of our abilities. That's what it comes down to. And that's not just food. You have to understand your environment and the toxins that are coming into you. And gratefully, this past conversation I just got off with my friend, we dove into the deeper aspects, because you could be eating the perfect diet, but if you have deep relationship trauma with people who are near and dear to you, that pain, that trauma is like a knot in your body. And that knot can inhibit your digestion, no matter how good you're eating. Tensions, imagine you get in an intense car wreck. There is a part of you that freezes, that latches on, that holds on to this frame of time. And emotional stories and experiences are just like that, particularly when you're a little kid. You're very susceptible to trauma. So that's a whole nother scheme. If you guys are interested in that kind of content more, please ask more questions and we'll direct it in that direction. But this life for really cultivating vibrant health has to be viewed in a holistic perception. And I'd also like to express that if you know people who are going down the carnivore track, or if you try it, use that money as a vote for something sustainable. Okay, there is a type of farming called biodynamic farming, and it's viewing the entirety of the farm as a collective organism, as a self-perpetuating life form. All right, the manure from the cows goes to fertilize the plants and the vegetables, feed the livestock, and the cycle continues. There are very minimal inputs, and it is equally healthy to the entire ecosystem, including the man. So if we had to live off of animal products, which I've expressed I would do if we lived in an age where we were unable to supplement, that is the way that we would have to do it. So if you're going to opt, because there's not a very clear direct path to a complete supplement right now, if you opt for a carnivorous approach, understand the potential deleterious effects of high protein, high methionine, the glycative end products, the carcinogens, potentially, especially if you're eating meat from a toxic environment. The fat holds on to these things as well. They don't just concentrate nutrition, but also potentially toxic things from the environment. But if you do go that path, use that dollar, understand every dollar you use and spend is a vote. You're like, I want more of that in this world. Every time you spend something, I want more of that. Spend it on farmers who are willing to create a sustainable solution. Otherwise, you're literally paying for your own destruction, whether or not you see it because it's so far away from you. It's all in one organism, so we need to vote properly. That's one thing that I think is an extremely simple way to really clarify your diet, is to minimize packaging. One of the biggest problems we have is the plastics. And if you want to simplify and really find an easy way to find health, is drop the complex combined prepackaged foods. Buy whole foods, buy things in bulks if you buy spices and such, and stop buying the packaging. If you quit packaging, guaranteed you'll get healthier than you are. Now, sure, I buy a lot of supplements that are in packages, but I buy, say, a thing of protein that'll last me a month. I'm not buying something every single day as a consumption that all is encased in plastic. Finding ways that we can vote consciously to support this endeavor of ours. So there we have it, my friends. Next time I'll find a way to make sure that the comments are activated. Please share your thoughts, concepts, experience. I find I'm in an amazing place now because I've got the vegans who would be angry at me, but they're too tired, so they're just upset with me. And then I've got the grok-like caveman carnivores who I'm pretty sure are angry at me, but their grammar is not quite clear enough to comprehend. And I'm just in the middle of having fun, guys. It's just jokes, okay? Technically, I am a vegan. I am. But I don't like to encapsulate myself or limit myself by terms. I am purely learning how to live in harmony to the best of my ability. I appreciate all support and direction as to any research. I like solid research. If you show me insights into diet and potential health promoting nutraceuticals, show me solid research. I don't want to see a Dr. Mercola article, okay? Even if it quotes 12 different studies. Have you looked at those studies and read them yourself? Don't base your beliefs off of somebody else's opinion. What are their beliefs founded on? Where's the research? That's what I want to see. And let's just keep diving in and refining it together. And for God's sake, just be nice to each other. Loving kindness, support one another. Another beautiful aspect of my conversation today was just viewing the world as our family, okay? There are a bunch of assholes out there, but that's just your drunk uncle. That's how he is, all right? He's a moron, but you still love him. Just try to love and be kind to people as much as you can, support, and know that those individuals are in a lot of pain. Don't take it personally, and spend as much time as you can with your loved ones. Getting all sentimental, man. Jeez. Awesome, guys. Freaking love you guys. Please comment, support. It's the best thing ever. And see you guys again soon. Aloha.